Hello and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports talk show in Worcester today, coming to you live from Utica, New York, and back with us finally from New Jersey, the coach himself, Dave Schuman. Coach, nice to have you back. We missed you.
Oh, it's great to be back. My favorite show to be on.
That's your second favorite show. It's your second favorite show. Rebel Republic's your first.
All right, yeah. Well, we can start that right away.
And then we got my cohort and co-host and self-proclaimed voice of reason.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
Frank
Let's
Cristiano.
get it going. Let's get it going.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let's get it going. You're going to get the truth here. You're not going to get anything else. You're not going to get garbage. You're not going to get fake news. You're not going to get fake. You're going to get the truth.
I'm gonna give you a tough one to start with.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a tough one. Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill. Miami Dolphins star receiver.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill
saw it.
Gets arrested, pulled out of his car, handcuffed, thrown to the curb. And there's been statements issued on both sides. Tyreek Hill did not comply with the officer's orders. He wouldn't roll down his window. He did give his license on identification. He did not want to get out of the car when asked. But this has been blown up. I mean, it's a pretty toxic situation. And you've seen the body cam footage. You've heard both sides. Miami-Dade County has stuck behind their officers. They put them on paid leave, but pending the investigation. But so far, they're standing behind them and saying they acted accordingly.
Paid leave investigation.
And if you hear the speech that was used, I mean, they were a little hard on them.
But listen, here's the thing. I thought obviously, I don't know if that body cam was turned on right at the point of them going up to the door.
Yeah, you don't know.
I think that may be it, but I don't know. So I can't say all of it, but here's the two things that I look at. The funniest thing I thought was when they had him out of the car and they had him cuffed and they wanted him to sit down on the ground.
He won't sit down.
And he said, I can't sit down. I can't sit down.
I just knee surgery.
I just had knee surgery. Brother, you're driving to the game today to play. The knee cannot be that bad.
Well, that's what the officer said.
The knee cannot be that bad. You're going to play. So that's
my knee.
Yeah. Come on. You're going to play today. How bad is it?
The officer did say that to him. He said, how convenient for you.
Right.
He just had knee surgery.
Right. And the other thing is that I have never seen anyone. I've never seen video of it. I've never seen it in person. I don't see it. I've never seen anyone getting yoked out of a car, yelled at, or beat down when they just say yes or no, sir.
Well,
never seen it.
I think there's two things on this. I think the first thing is Tyreek had an attitude.
And he didn't want Bentley to be hit.
And instead of just taking whatever ticket he was going to get for whatever speeding he was doing or whatever, he was very resistant to what the policeman asked him to do. And then the policeman obviously asked him to come out of the car. I think the policeman didn't, once they realized who he was, they obviously, I don't think he was the threat, to be a dangerous threat or anything. I don't think they needed to
yank him out
on the ground. But part of the problem was that Tyreek was it wasn't that he was resistant per se, but he was defiant.
He was disrespectful.
Defiant and disrespectful. And what you're doing when you're doing that is like they don't know exactly what your agenda is there. The cops don't know what your agenda is when you're being disrespectful. Are you looking to fight them? Are you looking to cause them a headache? Are you trying to bait them into something? And, I think the cop in this case,
they didn't know who he was either. They didn't know who he was.
Too far.
They did. The one cop in the back said it's Tyreek Hill. Well, the cop in the back said, "Hey, that's Tyreek Hill." So they knew.
Not right away.
Not
if Tyreek just, I think what Frank said is 100%. If he just did what he was supposed to do, whether he's annoyed or not, no one is happy when they get pulled over. Period. End of story. No matter whether you think you're right or you were wrong, no one is ever happy when they're pulled over.
What would they would have done, Dave? What would they would have done if he would have just said, "Guys, you know what? I apologize. I was going pretty fast. I'm trying to get to the game. We're trying to beat the Jaguars. Can I sign an autograph for anybody?"
$100 million.
Right? Can I sign an autograph for anybody? They would have been like, "All right, you know what? No problem." I would have been like, if I'm a cop, I'm like, "Hey, listen, Tarek, not a problem. We're going to give you an escort all the way to the stadium. That way you get there safe, okay? But next time, slow it down, please." That's all. If it would have just been some kind of cooperation between everybody there, but the problem is this. Tyreek was saying all the right things through this whole camera process, but he was doing all the wrong things while he's saying the right things. If you understand what I mean, he's saying one thing, but he's resisting on the back end of everything that he's saying.
Well, let me ask you both, because I said this even during the George Floyd thing. When I watched the George Floyd video, they talked to him and talked to him and talked to him and talked to him. I never knew it was, if a policeman gives you an order, I never knew that it was optional to follow it. Like if they ask you for license, registration, whatever, you give it to them. If they tell you to get out of the car, you get out of the car. Like I didn't know that if they gave you an order, you could debate it or it was optional. That's where that's what gets me is if you're a position of authority.
That's where we slid to as a society. Everybody's a lawyer.
Why is it optional for a cop tells you to do something?
It isn't optional.
Yeah,
it's not optional.
It's not
optional. They have the entire legality of the law behind them to tell you to do. And I'm not saying that hey, go strip naked for me and run down the hill.
No, right.
But if they're telling you, if they're looking for legalities and they're looking for something to identify yourself, or they're looking to pull you over for speeding or whatever the hell they're doing, they have the legal right to do that. If not, why wear the badge and why have authority? But see, that's what everybody wants.
And he didn't like him tapping on his window.
Everybody wants. Don't tap on my window. What's that gonna? So what? So my thing is that's what everybody wants right now. They only want the law when they need them. They don't want the law when it's not convenient to them. It's like, you get a break in your house. Well, quick, call the cops. But if you get pulled over because you're speeding, this is inconvenient for me. I don't need this.
And if you complied, okay, and you didn't cause an issue or anything like that, and let's say the officer still was excessive, you would have everybody would be on your side.
Absolutely.
Period. End of story. When you act like a jerk, okay, then you muddy the waters there, all right? Because then it becomes a situation where it's like, okay, well, now you're trying to show up the officer in some way, shape, or form. Like when he says, like, just give me whatever and just be done with it.
Yeah, let me go. Yeah,
like he's purposely.
He was dismissive.
He purposely dismissive. You would, if you really wanted him to be done with it, you would have rolled down your window and let them do what they had to do.
That's it. Start handing out Dolphins hats. I mean, the guys are gonna. Even on camera, they're gonna be. Oh, well, thank you. We can't take. But listen, let's make this work. Right. Let's make this work.
Yeah. Takes 2 seconds. License and registration. They run your registration. You don't have any warrants out for your arrest on your license. They give you a speeding ticket and you're on your way.
All right. Listen. I've answered that.
Yeah.
And now let's move on to the next question. You gave me that. You thought you were giving me a
loaded
gun here.
Hot take.
And it deflected me. Like
it was a hot take. It was a hot take.
And I think the last thing on this for me is just the officer could have helped himself by knowing that this was going to probably be used against him.
Well, people were filming it.
He probably could have just, I would say, try to diffuse it a little, like take an extra second, knowing that once he saw what was going on, and if he thought he was in a threat physically, that's different, okay. But if he didn't feel like it was really a true threat physically, because just the way they handled it, I didn't think that they felt like it was. It was really, they were just personally pissed off at the way.
Yeah, they were a little douche. They were a little douche. They were a little.
I would have thought that the best thing would have been to just, just diffuse this and be done with this jerk and be done with it. Like save my job here, because there are criminals that are doing real things that you're going to have to get into real situations with. And this one would have been just not worth it. But you know what? They looked young, those cops. Police officers. They looked young, and and especially traffic police officers, man, they deal with so much nonsense.
Yeah.
It's the most dangerous job of all, other than narcotics, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because of what happens. And it's Miami-Dade. I could only imagine what kind of guys they deal with on a regular basis.
Yep.
I agree with you.
That's my last take on that. But yeah.
So another great news. The NFL is investigating Deshaun Watson for another sexual assault lawsuit. This goes back to 2020, October of 2020.
Oh, thank God. I thought it happened like just before the game against the Cowboys, because I would assume that she would have sucked the life out of him because he looked limp on the field, for God's sakes.
No formal charges have been filed, and apparently they had been trying to negotiate a settlement for a while. And Watson, I guess, just took a stand. He doesn't want to settle anymore.
Yeah, he's had enough of this.
So the lawsuit says it was a single mother that he met at a Houston restaurant and bar. He got her phone number, and they met at a Houston Galleria for a date. She was reluctant to meet Watson in public, but agreed to go to dinner with him.
Reluctant to meet him in public? You think you'd want to have the meeting in public, for God's sakes?
Well, I don't know what going to dinner is. Going to dinner's in public.
Yeah,
that's. Oh no, dinner was at her apartment.
A drive-through at Chick-fil-A. That was dinner.
It was dinner at her apartment.
Okay, all right. Well, that's why she be reluctant. All right, yeah, sure, okay.
So the lawsuit alleges that while applying makeup in her bathroom, the woman then found Watson completely naked on her bed, lying face down on his stomach. Watson then
was he humping the pillow?
He then requested,
like my dog.
Yeah,
he had a request.
He was requesting stuff at this point.
He asked the woman to massage his ass.
Well, I mean that makes
I've
total.
been to the Houston Galleria.
Can you please massage my buttocks? He said.
Right.
That's what he asked.
Formal.
And then
was she a masseuse too?
No, she was not a masseuse.
She was just somebody he met, and that was it. Really?
And then he flipped over.
Sure.
And he continued to insist on getting a frontal massage now, which she was apparently sexually assaulted, Jane Doe. So,
well, wait a minute.
Deshaun Watson in the news again.
Wait. You're going too fast.
Okay. Well,
so you're saying he flipped over, and he asked her to,
well, she wouldn't massage.
Right. She wouldn't do it. So then what? So then he attacked her?
She would not massage his ass. So he turned over.
All right. So massage this. I got you. I understand the scene. The scenario is totally normal for me.
Right.
So, but tell me, did she just, and she said no.
Okay. So what happened was Watson partially disrobed Jane Doe and penetrated her vagina without consent.
Oh, he went
implicit or explicit, according to the lawsuit. I don't know what implicit or explicit means. Dave, you were an agent. That means you kind of went to law school. What's implicit and explicit mean? What's the difference?
Implicit means it was suggested or implied.
Okay. That would make sense.
I think explicit might mean that it actually was done.
Okay. Well, anyway, the NFL's investigating. Nothing's happening. But again, Deshaun Watson, again, Houston got the best of that trade. Everyone, they trade him to the Browns. Everyone thought the Browns were nuts for taking him, and it hasn't worked out.
Okay, so he's naked. He flips over, says, "Hey, babe, finish the deal." She says no.
Well, I don't think the words were not said. It was implied.
Right.
So he
gotcha. So then she wouldn't.
Well, no, he penetrated her.
Wait a minute. No. So he's lying on his back on the bed.
Right.
So she wouldn't finish the job.
No.
And then he got up.
Yeah.
And then he rips off over a robe or whatever.
He didn't rip. No, there's no ripping.
No.
She slightly disrobed her.
Right.
And then, penetrated from behind.
but does that? I don't. So she didn't stop it. She didn't fight it.
No, she didn't.
Well, then I don't.
She didn't, and it's 5 years later.
I don't. Right. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't. If she fought or said something or made a
there
phone call or screams were heard
no.
or I don't understand that. But I guess I do. I mean, I know women have gone back in time and said, oh, you know.
Yeah, but if it was really severe, I mean, I think she would have gone to the.
I mean, was it like Kavanaugh? Judge Kavanaugh, she remembered it from 40 years ago or something. They had a beer and
was in high school.
Right. So, but I don't. I'm sorry, I don't understand this. Plus, he's rock hard the whole time, doing it, grabbing her.
I guess. I mean,
I'm not trying to.
He was at her place. What was that?
Yes, he was at her place for dinner. Yes.
Now, see, he should have just went to Papa Bros, okay, steakhouse. If he was at the Houston Galleria, okay, he would have met himself a classy woman. And he would have went there. He had the best steak. The steak would have been cut like butter. You can cut through it like butter. They give you the big thing of bread. It's like your own loaf, okay? And that's what he should have did when he was in the Houston Galleria. If he didn't like that, he'd go to Capitol Grill. You could go to Morton Steakhouse, but Papa Bros is the place.
So that's
and he was in the Houston Galleria. He doesn't get it.
Well, he was looking for double D's, right? He was looking for dinner and dick.
Just let me ask you this though: the trade. Cleveland gives up so much to get him.
Yep.
He has done literally nothing in return.
Right.
And I mean, it's got to be considered up there with like the Herschel Walker trade for like a just bad trade.
Yeah.
And do you see Deshaun Watson coming back from this and like throwing 40 touchdowns this year and lighting it up? Or do you think that he's just going to toll in mediocrity?
No, I see him getting better if he's on the field. I mean, if he's not on the field, I got to realize the guy hasn't played with any of these guys.
Yeah,
he has no team chemistry. There's no nothing.
Yeah, he's been out.
He's running around and looking for people that aren't there because he doesn't know where they're going to be.
Right.
You know. So will he get? I think he'll get better towards as the season progresses. Who does he have to throw to? That's another question. You know, how solid are they as a team?
No, that's true. That's true.
So, but you know, in all honesty, yes. And the field, he's such an athlete.
He's dynamic.
That he can progress. The problem is,
right.
Are there pieces around him, and are they going to be cohesive? That's all.
Dave, I wanted to ask you because I'm a former Giants fan, and
who's a former Giants fan?
I am.
You are?
Yeah.
You're done with the team?
I've been done with the team. I've been done.
Who do you follow now?
I don't follow anyone.
Nobody.
No.
And you don't root for the Giants anymore? I didn't know this.
No, I don't root for the Giants.
Really?
No. But the Giants lost to Sam freaking Darnold of the Minnesota Vikings. They looked absolutely atrocious offensively. Daniel Jones throws the ball 42 times. Singletary, 13 carries, 37 yards. I mean, and I watched the Hard Knocks because you guys told me to. I think Frank or one of you did. Yeah. The Hard Knocks of the Giants in the offseason, and they nonchalantly let Saquon Barkley go, which infuriated me. There was no sense of urgency to get a deal done, and he didn't get much more from Philly than the Giants paid him last year. But the Giants looked awful. Daniel Jones coming back from the injury, so many changes made. Do you think the Giants have a chance still? I mean, it was week 1, but if the Giants lose and end up like 0-3, 0-4, do you think they make a move and fire Dayball and in season, which they traditionally do not do? But everyone wants Belichick.
Everyone wants Belichick
for the Giants.
Well, wouldn't he be available after the season too?
Yeah, I agree.
So then there's no rush.
No.
The only thing I would say is I think I remember on one of the many shows that I'm on with Mr. Cully here. I think I stated that.
Don't say
and maybe-
Dave Brown again.
No, I think I stated, maybe it was Moneyline. I stated that you had to pay. You kind of had to pay him because there aren't that many cues. But after watching the first performance, I think to myself, maybe that might not have been one that. Maybe I was wrong on that one. Maybe you might be better off just getting somebody in the meanwhile until you get a chance to draft a guy that's better or something, or trade for another guy. I don't know, but because what transpired on Sunday was just
It made me sick, and kudos to Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold is not going to take the Vikings to an NFC North championship or a playoff.
Don't say that.
You think Sam Darnold played?
I think Sam is better than people think. I mean, he
Absolutely.
really. The thing that I think is interesting about Daniel Jones, and then after watching Colorado and Shedeur Sanders, is the Dallas Cowboys say to themselves, "Man, we made the right move paying for Dak," because last thing we want to do is have to go back to the drawing board and have to pick one of these guys or trade for one of these guys that just set us back another 10 years. Like, we'd rather hope that Dak figures it out than have to try new with one of these guys.
But Dak had the numbers, though, to make you feel more confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
What Daniel Jones's numbers were. I mean, Daniel Jones's numbers, you have a good year.
He had the one good year.
The one year,
was
okay,
it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But that doesn't carry you for a
No,
career.
you're right.
No, I agree.
Dead on correct.
Yeah, but you're looking at it right now. I mean, what a horrible. If there's ever been a blunder of an administration right now, and I know I always go to certain teams, including the
Joe Shane with the Giants.
It has been. If you watched that episode, a couple episodes of the Hard Knocks there when they had Shane in the office and he had his kids in there.
I did not like that. His infuriated me.
His kids made more sense in evaluating people than he did.
Yes. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so
they had a bunch
of
yes.
The Madden. They should just go off the what my son does. You know what he does?
The Madden
he says, he rated on Madden, man.
Yeah, right.
That's how I know if he's good.
Right, but you think of it. I mean, look at the decisions that were made. I mean, to not bring in or keep quality receivers, any kind of receivers. I mean, again, you got a nice looking rookie there.
No, neighbors can
you got
play.
a nice looking rookie there.
Yeah,
he can play. But after that, I don't know what you have.
Singletary was a horrible.
Singletary. If I made any correct calls on this, Singletary, how you even think that he is a comparable running back because he has half a season in Houston and they thought he was fantastic. Awful evaluating. And Daniel Jones, to give that much guaranteed money.
Yeah.
All right, you want to bring Daniel Jones back? Bring him back, brother. We're going to bring you back, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to guarantee you a few million. And then the rest of it is on some kind of performance. We've got to see it for the first 2 years, and then maybe we readjust the contract.
Because I think he's got a 4-year deal.
Right. But I mean, how can you throw that much guaranteed money in a guy who's not proven at all?
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly
agree. In retrospect, I think you're right. I mean, shoot.
But they didn't
rocky road. It's gonna be a rocky road.
Defensively either. Do you think they showed up against the Vikings?
No, I mean they gave up a decent amount of points.
28 points, yeah.
I think the Giants, like everybody's really high on what's the defensive end, Thibodeau, right? Because he has a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
How is he against the run though?
Yeah, go right at him. It's the Micah Parsons syndrome.
Micah Parsons, like you said. Yes. I agree.
Their interior line. Who's their 3 tech and nose? It's Alexander. And who's
There's not too many.
Who's the kid they got inside? He's huge. He's 6'4", 340.
The one guy they have.
That's what made TJ Watt so good.
Yeah,
like he can handle the run and the pass. Same thing with Aiden Hutchinson.
The guy from the Raiders too was really good. Max Crosby. Yep. Although he's probably a little more of a pass rushing.
Yes. The game 1 he got thrown around a little bit.
Yeah. I think but yeah, it's the kind of thing where I don't know. There's everybody's kind of specialized now, so it really is. Although Micah Parsons looks, the Cowboys defense look great, but
No, they did. They did look great.
so I
No doubt
look,
about
guys
that.
like Micah Parsons is built well enough that I think if he wants to, he could become
Yeah.
a good run stopper too because he's stout.
And they move him around
With
enough
these
so
lean
you
guys,
don't know where
the
he is.
leaner guys, it's a little harder. Like TJ Watt is stout, Aiden Hutchinson's stout, even though they're pass rushers too. But Thibodeau and those kind of pass rushers sometimes struggle with the run. And then the other thing is that I think the Giants overall, like their secondary,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
got a lot of holes. Like they got a lot of no-name guys and a lot of holes. And maybe that's why everybody got very excited about Tommy DeVito because they had a couple of games where they thought
Tommy Cutlets. Yeah. I know.
But then he went
They-
and charged. Then he went and his agent, who was definitely looking to try to get some airtime. His agent went and was charging people in the local town like $50 or something to get an autograph or $100 to get an autograph, and
Hey, he was trying to hustle.
backfired.
He didn't get the NIL money.
He definitely didn't get no NIL money.
I will bring up as well, but my question also though, do you see the Giants making an in-season move with Dayball?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I just think it's not like the Giants organization, but the big but is, listen, if anybody goes, this is his make or break year. If he somehow goes like 0-6 or something, somebody's gonna make a move. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I agree with that. Yes,
they're gonna be forced to.
The feeling is yes, they will make a move. Like you said, it's 0-6, or if he's 2-7 out of the first 9, you'll see something, because the questions that came and were answered right now after week 1, it was an ESPN reporter. Brian Daboll says that Daniel Jones is still the starting quarterback, and he'll be.
Well, of course he is.
Yeah, but if you're getting those questions in week 1.
Well, yeah, that you're in trouble.
Not only your season is sunk, your job is sunk.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're asking you about your quarterback in week 1, right? Who you're paying $80 million. I agree with you, Dave. Your Cowboys, great performance against Cleveland. People questioned the hiring of Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer was the head coach of the Vikings. He battled cancer. He ended up getting fired from the Vikings. He had been out of football. Now they lose Dan Quinn. They bring in Mike Zimmer, and they looked amazing. They looked really, really good Sunday.
Parsons had great things to say about Zimmer.
Yeah, they all did, which is good to hear. And Dak played well, and they looked like they should.
We're the best. We're no doubt a top tier team. Okay, there's no doubt the Cowboys are a top tier team.
Well, the Eagles, Cowboys, and Eagles
in the regular season, yes,
yes, there's no doubt. And then the question is, will we ever get over the hump? But I think you're going to see the same thing as last year. We're going to be among the best records in the NFL and in the regular season. There's no doubt about it. And there's all the guys there. Again, I still question running back. Like it's amazing.
You don't like Ezekiel Elliott?
It's amazing. No, young Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, I like young Ezekiel Elliott. I don't like old Ezekiel Elliott. But it's amazing to me, the running backs. I was just talking with a couple of guys that coach me, and it's really interesting. We were talking about running backs. And, remember the old days, like the 80s and 90s, like those guys like Walter Payton.
Oh, yeah.
These guys would carry the ball like
300 times a year.
350, Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell, even Tony Dorsett, who probably weighed $190 soaking wet, carried the ball 300 times a year. And they last 10 years, these guys. Now these guys carry it about 200 times a year or whatever. 200,
They're done,
and they don't last 4 or 5 years. I can't figure it out. Like the last,
They don't.
their first 4 or 5 years of their career are good. Their last 4 or 5 years of their career, it's like they can't even move. I don't know if it's everybody hits harder now or they got worn out running the ball in high school. I don't know what it is, but like I think back, it's like the durability of the running back is way less than it used to be, and maybe it's because they're smaller, But Derrick Henry's not small, but in general, like Eric Dickerson was huge.
Franco Harris was big.
Franco Harris was huge.
Jerome Bettis.
These guys were huge guys. Like could carry the load, could take a beating, could last 10 years because of it. It doesn't seem like. See, Derrick Henry is heavy enough, weight wise, but he's built like a gigantic receiver. He's built more like Travis Kelce.
He runs high too.
He's built more like a Travis Kelce than he is like how Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker were built. I mean, those guys were like machines, physically, and but yeah, I think it's a different build of the running back that might be part of it. Or maybe the emphasis on run blocking and a lead blocker was a bigger deal. Everybody had a fullback.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's basically a zone run, and you're taking the first hit. There's no one leading for you unless they use a sniffer, which is usually a tight end, and that's not that often. It's definitely maybe they take more shots, even though they get less carries. I don't know, Frank. What do you think?
I think you have to look at it this way: is the big craze in the 80s was that William the Refrigerator Perry
scored a touchdown.
Was a 300-pound lineman.
Yeah,
scoring touchdowns. Now 300, you're undersized if you're under 300 on the line. You're looking at lines that they'll average 340 across the board. You look at the Eagles line. I mean, they're massive. So I think combined with better nutrition, better gym regimen, personal trainers, masseuse, you've got a vast amount of resources that these guys are much bigger, much stronger, and much faster. So
the wear and tear.
You're looking at the mass times whatever the formula is there. Times velocity, and the collisions are so big. I mean, if you stand in the sidelines, I've been lucky to be on the sideline for a few NFL games just to listen to the collisions. And bottom line, I mean, it's in college, you go listen to the collision, you're like, oh my God,
right?
Then you get to the NFL, everybody's running a 4.5 or a 4.9, or 300-pound guys are running 4.9s. I mean, it's insane. So I think that's going to take a toll on your body, just because of the number of times you're taking that shotgun blast from somebody. So AstroTurf is a big part of it. I mean, now
they want to go back.
There are no more grass fields, so I think your lower body takes a bigger beating on turf.
But it's also
horrible.
I don't think it's fair though. Half the time, a lot of these running backs, they go through their rookie contract, and that's it. They don't get signed to a second deal from anyone.
But that's partly done on purpose by the NFL.
It is.
So they can save money.
I know.
Because hey, listen, what do you do with
anyone to
your leases on vehicles are usually 3 years to maybe 4 if you're pushing it. You got a 3-year lease, right? So players are on that 3 or 4 year lease, and then they're done, and you go get a new model, and that's how it is with the running back position in the NFL.
Yeah, and then you end up with the Giants who think they can get by with Devin Singletary and save
which is the most idiotic. I still will go back and say it's the most idiotic evaluation ever. And the general manager, manager should be hanging from the stadium right now with the dental floss around his neck.
Yeah, and Saquon is playing with a chip on his shoulder. Frank, I wanted to go to you because your Washington football team.
Yeah.
They had quite the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield really has solidified himself as the starter. And obviously they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as the receivers. Their defense still plays well. And Baker Mayfield's only 29 years old. He's getting paid. It was a 37-20 route of the new look Washington football team. However, Jaden Daniels, I did not think looked bad at all. I thought for his first game,
it was a late sort of numbers pile on comeback.
Yeah, but game. Still, I mean, for a rookie in the position,
he looked better than Caleb Williams did.
For a rookie, well, his mother wasn't there. For a rookie being in the position that he's in, I thought he did okay.
No, it's not bad at all.
I think there's hope.
I think there's hope. There's nothing to be worried about. This is going to be a time transition with him. He does have some weapons, so that's okay. He does have targets to throw to, and also, in the backfield, I think that their running game is not bad. It's pretty solid. It'll be okay for the duration of the season. I think it's a matter of him again getting more reps, learning where everyone's going to be. It's a little touch and little nuances, but if not athletically, I mean, he's going to fit in just fine. He's going to be exactly what they need. They need a mobile quarterback. They need someone that can, get out of problems if the line isn't as solid as it should be, because I think there's still two holes on the offensive line.
They're limited up
plug. But flipping that over though, I think they played one of the better teams in the NFL right now. I mean, if you're looking at Tampa is solid defensively. They have a great core of receivers. They have the best receiving back, I think, in one of the best receiving backs in the NFL right now in their backfield. And I forget the rookie's name there. He actually carried the ball. I think he had like 60, 70 yards carrying. So you're going to see him probably end up being with a 1-to-1 split, Rashad White. So, and here's the contrast between Baker Mayfield and what's going on now in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Baker Mayfield has been put into a situation where he's welcomed by the administration.
He got a new contract.
Yeah. Got a contract, but he has weapons around him.
Yes.
He can make a mistake and come back and be confident that he can capitalize again with those players. Deshaun Watson is in a place where it's almost like he's not wanted anymore.
Well, Joe Flacco got it done there with.
Well, that's the whole thing. That sort of piled on the whole problem there too. Joe Flacco's success turned into Deshaun Watson's demise almost, because now fans don't want him. Players may question him in a few weeks of what's going on if he doesn't fit in right away. Administration is probably scratching their head going, what did we just do? It's almost like they got hit by a tractor trailer in that trade.
Yeah, it was
so, and he has minimal weapons around him.
Yeah.
I mean, and so Cooper, and unless you like Njoku at tight end, which, I mean, one game he looks like a world beater at tight end, and the next game he looks a completely atrocious forward in the backfield. They don't have Nick Chubb available right now.
No,
they're hurting. But if Deshaun Watson was put in the Tampa situation, I think he would flourish. I think it'd be much better.
Dave, your thoughts on Tampa in Washington? I'm happy for Baker Mayfield. He fought through quite a bit of adversity, being on 3 teams in 4 years. The Browns just kind of dismissing him and giving up on him. And then, going to Carolina, struggling there, going to LA, winning a couple games. And then, Tom Brady retires. He has more weapons than he's ever had in his career in Tampa. And he tears it up last year, gets a new contract. Good for him. But Jaden Daniels, I thought, showed a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is only going to get better and better.
Yeah.
But no rookies are great their first games. They are all thrown into the mix way too early. But I think he'll be fine. I think he showed promise. I think Tampa Bay has all the weapons, the tools. I think Baker Mayfield is pretty good. I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback, and I think he's in a good situation. So it's interesting to see how Tampa has continued to win. People want to listen. They want to go there. Think about where these guys want to go as free agents. You know what I mean? They want to go where there's zero sales tax. They want to pay less money.
Income tax. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, what I say, sales tax, income tax, and they want to pay less money and they want to put more in their pocket. and they don't need to be paid as much when you do that. That's the other thing too. Like
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
you can make a ton of money and make a lot more. I mean, what would you have to pay a guy in New York versus a guy in Florida? You could, just because of taxes, he's going to come. His agent's going to want more. So I think you get players to go there. I think that's a big thing. And with the salary,
and they've kept the core together too. They really have. Their GM's done a nice job.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's Tampa's a threat. There's no doubt about it. The team that looked to me to be phenomenal was the 49ers last night.
Wow. They
without McCaffrey. Without McCaffrey,
the running back who took his place looked great. I mean, I thought Aaron Rodgers, if he, again, protection still seems to be an issue somewhat. But like he had some throws that were unbelievable, and he had some plays that were unbelievable. It's just, I mean, I don't know. They can protect him. Like the Lucky's got a back trigger.
Dave, let me ask you. Okay, being a coach, let's say you're the OC.
Oh, here we go again with the 7-man protection.
I'm not saying 7 men, but I know you want to get 5 out. You've got to get 5 out in the routes, to be able to get more options. But bottom line, once in a while, even if not more, besides a chip, you got to keep an extra guy in. Maybe we got to keep an extra guy in.
This has been Frank's thing for years.
Listen,
for years.
If they're running man, that's one thing, but they're running some kind of maybe
zone,
man or two, or some kind of zone. Maybe I work half a field. Maybe I work half a field combination.
They might have to. I mean, the Jets could get away with, because of Aaron Rodgers, more tight ends. Use Conklin.
Play action.
They
got a good running game. Yep.
Get him more project. I thought the running game wasn't good the other night.
No.
But San Francisco's decent up front defensively.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name?
Hall is a good runner.
Who's the linebacker that they have that's phenomenal? The 49ers.
Warren.
Who is it?
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner.
Yep.
And he goes and punches the ball out. I mean, did you see that?
Yep.
Man, that is like textbook. Like he does what you, as a coach, and you know this, Frank, and Steve, obviously, because you play, you know this. You try to teach that to people over and over again, and nobody can do it.
Nobody does it. Nobody does it right.
No one does it right. They kind of
does it right.
Do it. Great players don't do it right.
Yeah.
He comes over. He literally punches the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a cut up you take and say, "This is what I'm trying to."
This is how you do it.
When I talk about how you cause a turnover. I mean, his punch alone must be so. He must got like a boxer's punch for Fred Warner, because he punched through that ball and it came right out.
I thought the stuffing was going to come out.
Oh my!
The air of the pigskin.
He must have a hammer for a fist. He must have a hammer.
But San Francisco, obviously, they're the best team in the NFC. Would you say, like, by far? Brock Purdy solidified himself. I mean, the Cowboys, maybe.
Well,
but San Francisco,
the Cowboys. I mean, what are you talking?
The Eagles,
Eagles. I don't believe in Eagles, but that's because I'm a Cowboys fan. But I think you probably would say 49ers, Cowboys. But yeah, 49ers.
Detroit,
Detroit, is Detroit in the NFC now?
Yeah, Detroit's been in the NFC. Yeah,
have they always been in the NFC?
Yeah, they've always been.
Right, the Packers, the Norris division.
Yeah, Seattle was the one that moved.
Seattle was the
NFC.
Yeah, but they had the overtime win against LA.
Listen,
I always think about what Chris Berman used to say, the Norris division.
Did you see that? Did you watch the Rams Lions game?
I watched about half of it.
Yeah.
But I watched all the highlights. So
it was a rematch from the
NFC Championship. That was a great game.
They always play well together.
I mean, Stafford was just on fire with Kupp. I mean, the chemistry those two have together is unreal as far as, receiver quarterback combos. And then you look at it on the other side, And Goff, I think he's overcome that mental challenge. Or
Well, he got
hoop had
paid
to jump
too.
through. He did get paid and all that.
Yeah.
And they have. You're talking about a core of receivers and
God.
athletes. Oh my God! Between Gibbs in the backfield and Williams being able to run, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's an All-Pro, is kind of like an afterthought now when you're looking at it.
Yeah.
So they just have so many, and the combinations they use, and then they pull out the wild card, Montgomery. So Dave Montgomery runs in the overtime.
Wow.
I mean, really ran it down their line. How good is their line? Running it down the Rams' throat.
And the Bears gave up on him, which was with the crazy part.
Oh yeah, they just wanted
the Bears dumped him. That's the thing that he was drafted. Second contract comes around.
Yep.
They'll just let him go.
Yep.
We'll just let him go. Speaking of your Chicago Bears from HBO's Hard Knocks, we got to see Caleb Williams in action.
Yes.
And he got the win.
Well, I don't know if he got the win.
24-17.
The team and the defense actually bailed him out on that win.
He
It's a
threw
team win
for a whopping 93 yards.
I know. I have him on my fantasy league team as much as I
Really?
Yeah.
When did you take him?
I took him in the 7th round as my first quarterback I pulled. Everyone started. All the quarterbacks are gone.
I know.
I wanted every athletic quarterback that was out there. And you know how it goes in fantasy drafts. Somebody, I'll take Jalen Hurts. Oh, crap. Richardson off the board. Oh, crap. Jackson off the board. So everybody's gone. So I ended up with Caleb Williams as the first quarterback taken. And I'm like, I just don't have confidence in the guy. But
was that your first quarterback?
That was my first quarterback taken.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Who's your second?
Tua.
Oh, okay.
Tua,
Tua's
how nobody had confidence in him. They left him to like the 10th or 11th round.
Well, Tua he produces statistics.
Right, he does.
Yeah.
But my thing was, I looked at it, I thought about it, I'm like, as much as I have a pit in my stomach about what Williams can do this season, he has so many weapons around him.
Yeah, the receivers.
You know what I mean? So
really
all he's got to do is play to 50% of his potential and just get the ball. Yeah, just get the balls to the right guys, and he'll be fine. So and now what's his name? They're scanning Rome Odunze's knee today.
Wow.
So he may be out for a while, but but they just have other weapons. I thought it'd be a little better, but yeah, his performance was underwhelming, if anything. And the defense really, the special teams and defense popped in 2 scores.
Yeah,
for Chicago. So good for them. I'm not a fan of Chicago. I hope they win, though. I mean, that city they're diehard. They bleed.
Yeah, they
bleed for the Bears. They've gone through so many disappointments since winning a Super Bowl like 40 years ago, whenever it was.
Yeah.
So I hope the Bears have some success.
Dave, what were your thoughts on Caleb Williams? I mean, he just looked very, very tentative in there. He looked like he was afraid to throw the ball downfield. Everything was short. 93 yards passing. I mean, they got the win, but I don't think he was all that impressive. I thought Jaden Daniels was more impressive than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I think he didn't do a ton, so they didn't really kind of leave it in his hands.
Well, no, right.
But does that really matter in the long run? I think that getting the win is the most important thing. He's the first pick quarterback to win in like 14 years or so, 20 years, something crazy, in his first game. So I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of things about Caleb Williams, and there's things that I don't like. So I don't know if which is going to come to fruition, but all the running around, buying time is valuable until you start to really get sacked. Mahomes has a knack for it like nobody else.
He does.
Keeps his eyes down the field. He doesn't turn his back to the defense. Like, very rarely does he turn his back to the defense. Caleb Williams will turn his back to the defense, man, when he's trying to get out of there. I mean, that to me is always to me is, as a quarterback standpoint, unless you have to do that, that's really, really
it's a last resort. Yeah.
When you turn your back to the defense, to get out of there, like, and gain. I mean, these guys are running.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So
that was in college, but you could see like you see even with like Colorado with Shedeur Sanders, he turns his back to the defense, man, and you don't have a ton of protection. waylaid. In the NFL, these guys are fast coming off the edge. So I think some of those things he's gonna have to work on. I think the consistency is going to be an issue for any of these guys over the course of first year. That's a rookie. The one thing that I am impressed with him is he seems pretty poised as a person. You know,
he's very calm. Yeah.
He has some idiosyncrasies about him. Obviously,
he's eccentric, I would
say.
say.
Yeah, but he seems very calm, collected.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, he does.
You know, so that part I do like. I do like the demeanor. I mean, he has some idiosyncrasies, which are, but you know, it's the quarterback position. They're all
head cases.
They all got their own idiosyncrasies. I think one of the things we didn't talk about, but I think is really interesting. Did you see Tom Brady as the?
Oh no, I didn't. It was his first game. How did it go? I didn't see it.
Got a lot of criticism for not being very.
He did.
Boring. Yep. His voice,
really?
His voice being squeaky. What I thought was what I thought was interesting is I actually thought Tom Brady seemed nervous.
I did too.
Anybody can be nervous.
He probably was much more nervous doing that than he was on the field.
Yeah, when they interviewed him the day before, they were asking him about the Michigan loss, and he did definitely seem like he was nervous. He had the jitters. But I didn't see the broadcast. I
watched the broadcast because that was the night game. That was
the game of the week or something, right? Yeah.
No, 49ers with Jets was last night. Was that?
No, it was a Sunday game.
Sunday night game.
It was a Raiders game, wasn't it?
Maybe it was the Lions Rams.
No, you're right. You're right. No, it was the Lions Rams. You're right.
Yeah, was the Lions?
I don't think so. I think it was the Raiders.
Oh, Giant. Maybe the Giant.
No, because the Raiders are the ones that he can't announce because he can't.
Well, no, I thought he
could
announce, but he couldn't say anything.
He couldn't go to practice or anything.
Right. I thought it was Raiders game. Oh, maybe not.
But whatever game it was.
You know what we're missing here? You have not brought up the biggest upset of the week.
What was the biggest upset?
What was the biggest upset of the week?
I don't know.
Cincinnati losing to New England?
To New England, to the Patriots. Yeah, 16 to 10.
That's unreal.
Joe Burrow.
It's unreal. We're starting that again where we were. What is going on in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. They should be one of the best teams in the league, and they're losing to.
And Jamar Chase was out there.
The Patriots.
10 points.
10 points. I forgot.
About that. Joe Burrow's standing in everyone's eyes is like, boy, this guy, he's right on the cusp. You know, we're talking. Super Bowl potential, Super Bowl champion quarterback.
Well, he was, yeah.
And you throw a duck out on the field. I mean, there was nothing against New England the whole game.
That's right. I had completely forgot about that. I was shocked that they
Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback, right?
Jacoby Brissett. Oh my God.
Well, that's who they went with. That's who they went with over Drake May. That's who they went with over him. That was the upset of the week. I completely forgot about that.
Imagine being in a company, okay, and you get hired for this corporation, and the interview goes at the end of the interview, you're hired. We just don't want you to make any mistakes.
Yeah, just don't turn the ball over.
Don't. No, in business, we don't want you to make any business mistakes. Just please keep it at a very consistent, steady pace. We don't want to overachieve anything. We don't want to achieve too much. We just want you to be normal, be subnormal, but don't hurt us.
What are you doing?
How do you function
25 yards down the field?
Right. Pull it back.
Throw it 10 or less.
That's it. Right. Keep it in the box.
God, he was 15 of 24 for 121 yards.
Right.
Oh.
Right, he didn't hurt anybody, but he didn't do anything.
But the running back
numbers right there, Trent Dilfer.
The
running back though, Stevenson had 120 yards.
He's a good back,
touchdown.
He's a good back.
Wow, what a horrible game.
Yes, it was. I mean, it's bad. But that's
Joe Burrow, 21 of 29 for 164 yards. I mean, that's pretty efficient. But he took 3 sacks. But 21 to 29 and only 164 yards.
Listen, you got 20 passes for 164 yards.
21 of 29.
That's an 8-yard average.
5.7 average, actually.
How is it a 5.7 average?
He was 21 of 29.
Yeah, he completed 21 passes.
Right.
So take the 21 passes for the amount of yards, divide it in there. If you said 160 yards, right?
164.
164 yards. That's 8 yards a pass.
Well, it says 5.7.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was disappointing. And I'm trying to see running the ball. They barely ran the ball at all. Wow. And then
who's in their backfield now?
Zach Moss. Zach Moss.
There's another
9
evaluation.
carries for 44 yards.
Why is it all the Bills backs are evaluated as being superstars for limit? And granted, Zach Moss had a great year last year for Indianapolis, covering for Taylor.
He averaged 5 yards a carry.
Right.
I mean, but they only rushed for 70 yards overall. Jamar Chase had 6 catches for 62 yards and 10.3 yards a catch. Wow,
horrible.
That was the upset.
Horrible. That is the upset of the week. Now, listen, this is Moneyline. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm going to throw this out there. This is Moneyline. Give us some games that we can pick this week with some spreads. You're the greatest podcast hoster in the history of effing podcasts.
That's exactly what.
Throw us some numbers.
That's exactly what we were going to do. That is exactly what we were going to do. Going into week 2 of the NFL season.
Yes.
Going into week 2 of the NFL season. All right, Dave, I'll go with you first. Dallas versus New Orleans. Dallas versus New Orleans. Dallas is home. It's a 1:00 game. Dallas minus 6.5. The over under 45.5.
Take Dallas. Take Dallas and the over.
This is an interesting game, Frank. Tampa Bay at Detroit, 1:00. Detroit minus 7. The over under is 51.5.
Those are tough numbers right there.
They are very tough numbers.
7.
7's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm taking Tampa.
I'm
gonna
take Detroit.
Minus 7.
Yeah, minus 7. That's a lot of points. But I'm gonna take Detroit, and I'm gonna take the under.
I like.
I'm gonna go
as well.
Well, they're both got a lot of offensive scoring power, but I just got a funny. I'm gonna take the under.
They're both good teams. I agree with that, and I think I would take Dallas all day against New Orleans. Let's see the other good matchups. I would look at Pittsburgh and Denver. Pittsburgh and Denver.
Why about that one? Russell Wilson is not starting for the second week in a row. There's no revenge game against Denver.
Well, they got to go with Fields. He's got a calf strain. He's got a calf strain.
Yeah, but I think the whole that whole buildup of him going back to Denver, a little revenge.
I know.
Throw for some yards and some scores and let's roll it up.
Not happening.
Yeah, Bronco Nation. Let's ride, or what was it?
Let's ride.
Pittsburgh minus 3 on the road at Denver. The over/under is 36.5. Dave,
I like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, even with Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Justin Fields versus Bo Nix. You're going with Justin Fields.
Bo Nix.
No,
I don't see Denver scoring 13 points.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So right there, right off the bat.
You think
Steelers will score 20? That'll make
it
it 33.
Back at Oregon, then I take it.
What's the over under in that game?
The over under is only 36.
I would take the under in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that might be an under.
You would take the under?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would take the under in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh just came off of a 10-point game against Atlanta.
I know, but it's the NFL. If you
Kirk
can't
Cousins
score 21 points.
Kirk Cousins looks so uncomfortable in the pocket. He's flat-footed. He couldn't move left or right, and he's still hurting from the injury.
NFL, you either have a team that could score a bazillion points or a team that could score none.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll give you 2 more. Kansas City versus Cincinnati. Kansas City's home versus Cincy. Can Cincy rebound? It's Kansas City minus 6. The over/under is 47.5. Dave?
KC. And I'm a Burrow fan, but
I got KC too.
Yeah, I would take KC in the over. I think they're out of points. I think Cincinnati's got to score 25.
I think it's
to be relevant. And they're going to be 0-2, but they got to score.
You're absolutely right. And the last game, I will give you the Monday night matchup. Atlanta at Philadelphia. The line is Philadelphia minus 6.5. The over/under 47.5. Who do you like there?
Philadelphia. And
Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles at home?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And what was it?
47.5.
47.5. Man, they scored 10. Pittsburgh's defense.
Pittsburgh. No, it's Philly. It's Philly.
No, I'm saying Pittsburgh's defense is pretty good.
Yes.
And Atlanta scored 10 against them. Maybe you go 15. I would say I'd take the Eagles in the under.
Yep. The Eagles in the under the 46.5.
Who's the quarterback for the for Atlanta?
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
who they paid a fortune for.
Listen, at some point in this season, you will see Penix at quarterback.
I don't believe
they're comfortable with him. They love him.
I know they love him. I love a lot of people.
You're going to see him thrive. You're going to see him thrive.
I think he's older.
You're going to see Cousins figure it out, and he'll come around.
He'll be on his back. He may lose. He may be out the whole season after this game Monday night.
But you guaranteed him $100 and something million. He's going to be $100 million backup.
You can guarantee him whatever you want to guarantee him. The problem is if he gets injured, he's out again.
Yeah,
you have guaranteed money sitting at home watching on your couch.
I know. All right. Well, you heard it first here on Moneyline. The best picks around. We will see how everyone does in their picks.
Hey, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Does anybody go out for Monday Night Football anymore?
No, nobody does.
Even the young kids, nobody goes out at all.
No, because
we used to go out all the time.
It was at 9 o'clock. It was fun. Yeah. Now it's at 8 o'clock. It's boring. It's lame.
No, it's not even fun. People go to bed on the East Coast. The game ends around midnight.
Yeah,
so it's too late for the East Coast. I got it. But bottom line, we used to go out. They used to have bars that would have buffets.
9 o'clock.
They do a halftime buffet. You'd have pizza and wings, and they put out cheese and crackers and stuff. And then you just drink 3 or 4 or 5 beers, watching the game all night throughout the whole night. Yeah. Right. So why is earlier make it not?
I think
not
it
so
makes
desirable?
it lame. 9 o'clock is a cool time. I think anything cool happens at 9 o'clock at night.
I don't know how to answer that.
That's what made Monday Night Football cool. It was 9 p.m., baby. It was prime time. I mean, how can you argue that, Dave?
I remember the best things happen after midnight, but
yeah. I mean, what do you want to go to 8 o'clock? I don't want to go to 8 o'clock, 8:15. It starts. I want a 9 o'clock old school prime time Monday Night Football. Bad.
You can't do it on the East Coast. You got to to go to work in the morning.
Well, too bad.
Bring back Howard Cosell.
They did.
Don Meredith, right?
They did it.
Don Meredith, Andy Don.
I know they did it, but back then no one was rushing to get to work. Everybody had a full-time job. If you were a little bit late, you're a little bit late. Now everyone works from home. That's another reason you should go out. You work from home.
Yeah.
It's another reason you should go out.
Or you don't
no
work
one goes out anymore.
Or you don't work at all.
Or you don't work at all. Either one.
The young kids don't go. I don't think the young guys really go out. Really,
they don't as much anymore. No, they just sit on their phones and play and do TikToks and shit.
I don't know how they meet. How do they meet girls now?
I don't think they do.
Tinder.
I think it's virtual.
It's all virtual.
It's all online.
No, it's Tinder. It's very easy to meet a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I could go on Tinder right now.
Yeah.
And in 30 minutes have somebody ready to meet me to fornicate. Yes. 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Is that site called Disabled and Desperate?
No, I kept telling you. You go to Tinder, you put your profile up, your location settings. Yeah. Somebody in Utica
is going to come knocking at your door.
Will message you asking you DTF.
DTF.
Really? Come on.
I'm dead serious. It was 2 years ago where I actually did this and did a Tinder profile. And I met a girl within 20 minutes. I went out with her 3 days later, and she invited me back to her place. And I didn't go because I just thought, whoa, this is a little fast. I was kind of shocked by it. But based on her situation, she had been divorced twice and had a stalker and something like that. So like
she was looking for the next landing spot.
Well, she thought I was a good guy. Like I'm the normal one. Like I'm the first. She's like, you're the first normal guy I've met. Yeah. I'm like, you think I'm normal? Then you got issues.
Holy Christ.
But
you're normal?
I'm dead serious. She wanted me to go back to her place. And I passed it up just because I thought like, wow, that's fast. So, but yes, 30 minutes, Dave, make a profile on Tinder. You can do it just for fun. I guarantee you, Dave, 30 minutes.
I can't get thrown out of my house. So
this is what you want to do. That's just what you want to do.
But Very intriguing, though. Very, very intriguing. That's amazing. No longer is the days of
No asking
using
what.
a call
Yeah.
box and
Nope.
hoping they're home. I guess.
Nope. It's all text, and it's all that stuff on your cell phone,
Great.
and it takes it all away. So
All right.
All right.
great show. It's great to have Dave back. Great, we got Dave back on. We did a nice job with the WooCast.
We still don't have. See right here. See this spot right here.
What spot?
Right where my finger is. See that?
What about it?
It's empty.
Your name.
It's freaking empty.
I don't know how to do that. Dave, do you know how to do that? If you're with two people, how to add a
On the
second
same
person
thing, you should put like Steve Cully.
and Frank Cristiano?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just
But
gonna.
I can't
I'm
put
gonna
it
have.
here.
I'm gonna have a name tag, and I'll put it right here. I'll just hold it just like this, and right there, and it'll be just a name tag.
Like
Okay.
like the guy from The Office. What's his name?
Yes.
The world's
That's
best
what-
boss.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For Coach Dave Schuman, for the proverbial voice of reason, Frank Cristiano.
I've been very reasonable this show.
Chosen one.
For that, well, you did two. You did.
Chosen one.
You did good. You did 2 shows in a row. Very good. Very good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Absolutely.
Our sponsors, 42nd Brew Co., variety of Pilsners, IPAs, lagers. Go to Kingston, Massachusetts. Wonderful tasting room. Steve Darby, we love you. And I will say this has been Moneyline on 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports show in Worcester. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back